Whoops. Sorry about that. G'day, friends and fans. Welcome to Writing Corner. I'm your host, the author, David Applegate, author of the books The Boyhood of Cade, Power Games, and Into the Owl's Mound. Today, talking about editing your manuscript using ProWritingAid. Now, before I begin, I'd like to remind you that this channel is sponsored by you, the viewing audience. So please check out the links in the description below. Consider making a donation today. But all it takes is a matter of liking, sharing, and subscribing. So costs you nothing to do and it helps out the channel. But if you'd like to go the extra mile and make a donation, links are in the description below. You'll also become a patron, buy my books, or buy a coffee mug, 10% off. Help the channel grow and help me make it. Oops, something went wrong. I hope, well, just a moment. Am I on live on? Am I live on Rumble? I know I'm live on X right now and I'm live on YouTube. Yeah, I'm live on YouTube. Just said to, but of course with X, I can't. I have to share out the link after I go live. I don't know why it won't let me share before, but of course it's probably because it shows on the panel broadcast. But it's weird because it actually shares externally. Oh well, here we go. Wrong one. Love a duck. Having a lot of fun today, I'm telling you. Keep making basic mistakes. Self-sabotaging, of course. I'm sorry, over copying the wrong information. Doesn't. Right. So, what we have? Just, oh, was my notes. Sorry. Give me a moment. Got to bring up my notes. I accidentally closed the wrong window. So I'm going to bring it back up again. Where are we? Where are we? Documents? Okay, just going from the documents quickly. Oh, come on. Where are you? All right, here we go. Found it. Right, thank you. Now, for those who don't know, ProWritingAid is a spelling and grammar checker, and it is AI powered. And all of us want to write at our best. And before I continue, I do have a link for ProWritingAid in my description, but they are not paying me to promote them. ProWritingAid is one of the most popular, and thus that is why I'm covering it today, because all of us want to improve our writing, and before working with a human editor, we would like to basically spell, grammar check, and basically help refine our work, because a lot of us can't afford an editor, and that's a fact. But why use an editing tool? Well, the basics is affordability. It's easier to use an editing tool than hire an editor. That's a sad fact. Some people use ProWritingAid and go chapter by chapter. Others write the entire book, but it's easier if you go chapter by chapter because it helps. If you revise chapter by chapter, it helps you remember your plot, your characters, your plot points, your characters, and it actually helps build your grammar as you go along. And you try to find you make less mistakes as you go along. Now, you start by making basic typo checks, rephrasing some texts, fixing your passive writing. Now, of course, what a lot of overwriting gets done. You want to tighten your manuscript. That's where AI comes in, and it's called Sparks to find new ideas, new directions. Use ProWritingAid has various reports which you can with some tutorials on how to fix issues and improve them. You can change up your genre to get better reports. Because if you're using fantasy and you write to do a report on sci-fi, you're not going to get very well. But of course, sentence length and variability helps with pacing and cliches. I mean, ProWritingAid, I'm an affiliate. You can get 10% off. I make only a little bit of money, but it helps out the channel. But ProWritingAid is an editing tool. And like any tool, it's only as good as how well you use it. Now, ProWritingAid, let's see, ProWritingAid. It's an AI-powered writing assistant. It's can make your writing better. It has been used by many best-selling authors for years now. A lot of people have felt that their writing is letting them down because no matter how many classes you take, at the end of the day, you have to. You're not going to be perfect. You're going to make a lot of mistakes, and a lot of us, we're limited by our intellect. Okay, a lot of us will never improve, and as we get older, we don't improve. We sometimes get worse. So, ProWritingAid really lifts you out of the doldrums. It can potentially extend your writing career. I mean, a lot of writers hone their work for decades as screenwriters, and now one of the things about ProWritingAid is it claims to be built by writers for writers out of a writer struggling in London to write, struggling with self-doubt and discovering that computer-aided spelling and grammar checking and boosted people's confidence. And it's used by over 2 million people today. They have a privacy guarantee. I mean, they're not going to sell your manuscript. They have a long list of books to which they are credited to as crafting improvements, not writing the entire document. Now they have a long list of features which you could try out for free. Now you don't have to use AI. You don't have to accept their rephrasing or rewriting, but it checks in real time as you write. You set yourself goals. You've got various in-depth reports on style, pacing, dialogue, overused words, spelling. You use their powerful writing tools to find synonyms, rhymes, anagrams, and explore more powerful rephrasing. Plagiarism checker for those who write academic papers. When everybody's done this mistake of reading a book and then writing the exact phrase later. Author comparisons. You can compare your writing to over 90 styles or renowned authors or whatever you want to call it, but this gives you an idea of where you stand in your genre, allegedly. I mean, it has boosted confidence. It has helped people. I think a combination of Grammarly and ProWritingAid has really is a game changer. I don't know of any other AI tools out there that are as renowned or as sophisticated. But it's a changing market, and I think ultimately you have to decide for yourself where you stand on AI. But Microsoft Editor itself is an AI. There's no online editor, as far as I can see today, is not using AI. They are all, because previously in the past, it would use what's called a decision tree, in which it would say, oh, of course, comma. But there are there's the Meridian rules, Rogers, Oxford, various other universities, all have their own rules of commas. So don't come at me and say my writing is crayon because I didn't use your fucking bullshit rules of commas. Or I spell in British English instead of American English. Yes, ProWritingAid is a grammar Nazi. Absolutely. But you can ignore and you can home your style and you can create off your works. You don't have to use the AI. So whether you like AI or not, it's out there. And you have to at least recognize the fact that AI could do better spell checking and grammar checking than Microsoft Editor ever could. And this has been proven time and time again. A number of books that are out there with spelling and grammar checks that fail. Now, you only have to get a score of 99. Nobody's going to be perfect. And I wish people would be more forgiving, considering it's just me. I don't have a ghostwriter. The vast majority of writers out there don't have ghostwriters. So it's up to you. But when editing your manuscript using ProWritingAid, I recommend you do not use edit in real time. Rather, I recommend you go chapter by chapter. You edit a chapter, and then you copy it to a separate document. You spell check it. Then you put on real-time checking, and you go through, get all the basic stuff first, your spelling, your grammar. Then you go through your active, the passive, and all that. And then what you do is you take that chunk piece by piece and put it back into your original document. Then you take the next chapter and the next chapter. Don't try and do the whole document at once. It'll slow your computer down and chew up your internet time. And the problem is if you do the whole document, if you only edit a little bit and then come back, you're going to wait for the whole thing all over again every time you do it. So don't use real time checking. And I recommend you turn off Microsoft Editor and all other checks in the background if you're using Word or Skyver or any of those. Turn off all those background checks, right? That you just edit. You write, take your first draft chapter by chapter into separate documents and edit those in real time, and then put them all back together and send that manuscript to your editor or your beta readers. And ProWritingAid, it's cheap. It cuts the cost of editing. I know a lot of editors out there don't want to hear this, but we know that also editors use these aids and tools. That's how so many of them do a document in such a short time for so little. Plus, they outsource. Such these big editing companies, they outsource to cheap overseas companies, and because they're not English speakers, they're using ProWritingAid, and they just hit accept all. That's the last thing you want, because if you're trying to do a Cockney accent or write in particular styles, these AIs are not yet au fait with your styles. So part of ProWritingAid is actually knowing when to click yes and not to click And then it comes down to personal experience, to writing and rewriting and reading and rereading. And when you're finished, do an audiobook conversion. Use Google's AI, it'll do an audiobook conversion and it'll read it back to you. Or Microsoft Speak or any of those. They're all also AI. So if you're really against AI, you can't use any of these amazing tools that can help you be more productive for less. Now, of course, most of these tools are going to cost you money. But so is an editor. You have to decide what you're going to invest in. I can't make the decision for you. But if you want ProWritingAid, I can give it to you for a discount. I can't give it to you for free. The link is in the description below. But you use my code to get 20% off my affiliate code, and link in the description below. I could also tell you about Grammarly and other AI tools. There's Hemingway and other tools. So far, I've found ProWritingAid and Grammarly to be on par with real-time checking. ProWritingAid does seem to be more, I suppose, faster and easier when it comes to checking styles and consistencies and finding word variations and sentence structures. Whereas Grammarly seems to be very, very good at rewriting phrasing. Both ProWritingAid and Grammarly have their pros and cons. They both have their strengths and weaknesses. But overall, the scores are on par. Both will come up with, within reasonable accuracy, you can check one and the other, and they'll both disagree all the time, and you'll check it with Microsoft Editor and it'll disagree. Right now, there's no single standard. And then again, it comes down to where you went to school. There's, like I said, there are 9 variations on English and rules for commas. So right now, just because one is not because one, you can't check one and the other and get the same results, doesn't mean anything. But ultimately, every month, ProWritingAid has adjusted and improved, and they seem to take on board, where their suggestions go wrong. You can actually report where their suggestions go wrong. Now, it's a real-time app, and of course, as a real-time app, like I said, it takes up a lot of it slows your computer down in real time. So again, before I go, I cannot emphasize enough, don't use real-time checking at all on any of these AIs. They clog up your internet, and you're not going to only use it in small segments. You can't highlight a section and say, only check this. You have to copy it into a new document and then run it. And you'll see how much difference it is, how fast it is when it's only checking a small amount. And you actually pick up more errors by doing it in small chunks than you do by doing it big. Thank you for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe. Now on X, of course, you just got the, you see that little basket with the up arrow. Post this, and yeah, but my name's underneath. Just follow me on X, and you'll see my link tree. You don't see it in my description. You have to actually click on it. It doesn't show it to see, and then to see my link tree link. I mean, come on, X, get your finger out. Anyway, make a donation on Ko-Fi, become a patron today, and of course, all my book links are in my link tree, my merchant links in my link tree. See you in the next video.